Welcome to the Human Impact Theory Podcast. I'm Jacqueline Way, founder of 365 Give and your host. Welcome to my home. Our podcast explores how real change in our lives and the world is real simple. Every day, through small actions, we have the power to make our world happier and a more peaceful place. And this episode in particular is going to show you exactly how to do that. This actually marks the launch of our special event, Do One Give Day. It is the most significant global giving day of the year for 365 Give. So right now, mark your calendars, Thursday, April 24th. It's going to be the day that we're all going to come together and give in small ways. And we're going to show you how simple it is today. Today, we're going to be answering one of the most important questions that's going to help you on Do One Give Day. Is smiling really contagious? Well, our guest and good friend, Michael Ray, the founder of the Smile Project, he has a movement that is proving that something as simple as a smile can change lives and the world. It's inspired by his daughter, Maddie, who has Down syndrome, and she's actually nonverbal. You're going to hear this profound story and the effect that her life has had on Michael. And now he's on a mission to actually spread kindness, happiness, and love one smile at a time. Through his journey, he has witnessed the contagious power of a smile and how it can transform the lives of people with everyone you touch. So, in this episode, we are going to learn why smiling is contagious, 7 reasons to smile more every day, more about the science of smiling, and the ripple effect smiling can have on the world around you. By the end of our conversation, you're going to be so inspired to incorporate more smiles into your own life to make it your daily habit because you're going to understand how it's going to increase your own well being and everyone around you. So, is smiling truly contagious? Let's find out all the details and get started. Michael, welcome to the show. I am so excited to have you here, my friend. Thank you so much for your time today. How are you?
I am absolutely amazing. And as I've often said, I'm incredibly blessed and grateful to so many beautiful people like yourself that bring me into your world and your space with the message that you share to others. So the gratitude is reciprocal. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. Well, for those of you out there, just so you know Michael, and if you're not on LinkedIn, I don't know why you aren't, but Michael is what we call an influencer on LinkedIn. The power of his message has traveled. Do we even have a number on that? Are we at the billions yet, or are we still at the just hundreds of millions of lives that you have touched with your messages, Michael? We got to
You
do that
know, I
more
don't.
one day.
It's not important to know the specific number, and I truly mean that when I say that. I think that sometimes humanity and our vanity wants
Mhm.
to know exactly how things perform from an analytical perspective, but it really isn't because I'm living proof of at times when I say the power of one, and a lot of times, regardless of whatever that number is, but for me, it really wasn't as much about the numbers, but when I would get messages and comments from people all over the world and realizing that wow, like somebody from Poland or Germany. I mean, I could rattle off probably 50 countries. And I
I'd say
think
more than
that's what,
that. Yeah.
again, when you say they're not on LinkedIn, I think that is one of the beautiful things about that platform. Not that, maybe a few others, but the ability to kind of, and that's kind of where my journey went from a few years ago was where it was really just local, thinking about the impact that you would have locally in your community, not thinking about, okay, Kentucky, then the US, and then all over the world. So I guess I don't reflect on it because I want to stay humble.
You're always going to stay humble. It won't make any difference, but it would be
You
a really
know?
cool number to come up with. And we'll talk about why in a little while. But I want to start right from the beginning with you, Michael. I really want people to understand your story. I want them to understand that what you've done and the impact that you continue to make every day has been so simple, but where it started from, because I think so many people start from a place that feels difficult and then it changes. So, can you start from the beginning? Why and how did the Smile Project even start?
So yeah, I mean it's twofold. I say twofold because, first I kind of had to have a foundation of probably two things. So when I say two things, it's probably one A and one B. And, you know, through sometimes, through great challenge and heartache can come such beautiful things. So I think, that was one A, and the heartache is all the things that go wrong in life by losing a child, and failed marriage, failed career, failed life savings, you're losing your house. And a lot of times where you find that place where you feel like your life has no value. So that's kind of 1A. um 1B that's kind of in there is, being a parent of a child with special needs. Now, being a parent with a child with special needs, in this case is Down syndrome, it runs the gamut, because those special needs can be varied. But, I always try to, when I talk about this piece of it, of leaving the impression of someone when you're a parent, in this simplicity. You mentioned simplicity, the simplicity of taking for granted in life that our child always says, I love you. That's just what it is. It's some of those first few words that you hear when they're young. I love you, mommy. I love you, daddy. And never hearing those three singular words from my daughter, Maddie. And that's
Michael,
because
can
she's
we
not,
just go back for one sec? Can you tell us a
yeah,
little bit? I know all about Maddie. I
yeah.
love her. Can you tell our listeners a little bit more about Maddie and that piece? Maddie is your daughter, and she's how old
Maddie's
is
my
she
daughter.
now?
She's now 25.
Wow.
But you rewind in life, and the struggles and challenges, when I talk about the different intricacies of special needs, it wasn't just the nonverbal piece.
And she was born
Um,
with
and,
Down
and again,
syndrome.
and
Just
that's correct. And because she has a splash, she's on the spectrum a little bit. So there's feeding issues, there's bathroom issues, there's communication issues. So those things have become normal for us. And it's interesting because now that I have developed relationships with people on LinkedIn over the last, few years, I literally have had probably at least 10, 12 people from LinkedIn who've come into Louisville and legitimately have slept at our house, where I've met them for the first time. I've built relationships. And it's almost, being able to see behind the curtain. So when I talk about my daughter, a lot of times they've seen things for months or years on LinkedIn and my interactions. But then you peel back those layers in the curtain and you really see and going, wow, I didn't know you did this or this, and they start to see all of those things. And again, at one point in time, yeah, maybe it created chaos because it's how we looked at it, versus it's so normal to us. It's part of the routine. And then, really looking at all of those things that we find such great joy and happiness because we recognize the differences that make her innately, I hate to say this, but more beautiful than you and I, because, you know, a great example is if you don't have stress and anxiety and a lot of those things, and she doesn't, because she doesn't have to worry about, again, here we go with simplicity again of what's for dinner tonight. She doesn't ask and doesn't have to think about that. So again, when we take those very minor things that sometimes we complicate in our lives to create more chaos than we need to, that's what my daughter did for me. And again, I think that it takes, when you're nurturing, or I laugh at times and say it marinates, and sometimes the marinate is better the longer it takes. Well, in my case, it took years, but I fully understood, rather than being aggravated as a parent, started looking at really the wholesome and beautiful things that she was teaching me on this journey we call life, at that point. So again, one is A and B. It's what we go through, but yet I never understood the power of nonverbal communication until I had a daughter who couldn't say, I love you, Dad.
Mm. Well,
So,
I want to
so,
go
so how
back
do
to
you get it then?
something.
How do you get it?
Yeah.
You get it in, affirming moments. Again, here we go, simplicity and the simple things in life when I would go, all right, Moo, do you love dad? And it wasn't even a yeah, it was the nonverbal communication of, and it was almost, where because her smile has evolved for me, it's the same smile, but I don't look at it the same today as I did 20 years ago, in which it's as if her soul is just lighting up.
Right. And
So
that's the
that is
communication.
the A and B portion when I say two things. That's one, A and B, and then B is, well, it had to intersect with something else to really make me sit back and reflect and meditate on how powerful that journey with my daughter actually was.
Mhm.
And that's what I don't care, in life, because I've had so many beautiful interactions now of an amazing diverse cross section of humanity. And that goes from, I don't care if you're homeless living in the sand on Venice Beach in California, whether you're a CEO of the company, I mean, athletes, coaches, I have been able to talk to so many different people, as it relates to this, and really understanding and how they look at life, and knowing the impact of singular moments that we have on others. So the two is, it's when, regardless of what we do in life and who we are, life still impacts us. It's how we choose to react. And I told my oldest daughter one time, Hannah, I said, I don't have bad days, I have bad moments. And you and I, before we started this, I kind of related to some of that, is I don't allow it to control me. So it doesn't define my day and all that. But again, for me, the two was having a bad morning at work, and was kind of still in that place in life in which trying to find my purpose and know I was meant for more. And I left on a cold February morning to go get chili at Wendy's, of all places. But it was that
Normal
short
average day
interaction
for
that we take for
anyone.
granted just with a
Right.
drive-through worker. So that's the number two. And the number two was, it was the interaction of a drive-through worker that made me feel good. It made me laugh, and again came back to the place of, when you're laughing, you're smiling, you're creating all those good endorphins and energy within the body. So it wasn't a simple drive-through encounter. Again, nothing crazy about it, just the personality of Chantrell at a Wendy's drive-through. But yet I didn't want to wait to reflect on it. I actually pulled over and parked my car and really started reflecting, and actually started really sobbing, because I knew there was something more powerful that I was being told in that moment. So for me, it
Just got
meant
the
it
goosebumps,
meant
Michael.
say yeah, it meant saying thank you to her. I got out of the car, I walked back, I said thank you. But then, as we go through these things in life, I mean, sometimes, and most of the times, they're fleeting, because you just do it. It's just normal actions of getting a cup of coffee, or the drive-through, the grocer, whatever we do.
Yeah.
And I was like, there's something more here. And I did. I really reflected and prayed over the course of the next week over that. And I was like, it's this simple again. Again, we go back to this thing. It seems like we've got this reoccurring thing of simplicity, but the simple act of Maddie smiling to me, and the affirmation of love to me. And I felt that smile and energy from a drive-through worker. So it really, as I continue to think about those moments, I mean, probably 100 times over the course of a week, it was the next interaction in which, again, I was in a random place, and I was at the,
Things come in
and I will
threes.
never
That's what
forget
they
it.
say, right?
Yeah, and then it's someone else, and you start to understand, and there's someone else days later, and you start to seeing and feel, not only it's them and the good vibes and good energy they're bringing to you, but it's what you're also bringing to them in these singular moments. So of course, so that really is the one and two, as far as what created the thought or foundation. But of course, there was nothing, around it at that point, other than I was just taking random pictures with strangers, because it brought me such joy in just having a couple of minute interaction with a nobody. And
Mm.
again, no one's a nobody, but we intersect with so many people we don't even know. And what can we leave them with? So what I started to see and feel, and those feelings and emotions are very powerful things. And
Mm.
that is, I really started to understand that a smile without speaking was just a simple way to say I love you to a complete stranger without even opening your mouth,
I
and
love
that they could feel that, because I started feeling it in those interactions. And, again, even though my Maddie could not speak back, I would share that with her, and it felt like at times again, her smile and that affirmation of love to me was her soul lighting up. And if anyone on here is of faith, it really felt like I was glorifying God in these moments, because I looked at, Maddie is not this crutch, not this giant challenge, versus she's insanely beautiful and the world needs to see more of this.
Mm, I love that. And so this is how your project, the Smile Project, literally started. It was one smile at a time. Can we literally say
It's
that?
again, and I'm going to say it for probably the sixth time, it truly is the simplicity
I love it.
of that interaction that we take for granted. It's just the power of a smile.
Oh, I love that. And we're
It
going to
and
repeat
they
it
say
a
it
few
costs nothing.
times. We're going back to it a few times over the course of our
Yeah.
show because what we know is the more we repeat this to everyone, the more they're going to understand this is actually where their power of giving and kindness is. It's as simple as one smile away. And not only have you changed another
It's no
person's
different
day.
if you feel like you're a little overweight and go, "Hey, I want to lose 20 pounds to get in that bikini." You have to put the work in. And I would tell you at one point in time that, I really had to be intentional,
Yes. Yes.
but
I
you
love you said that.
focus on it enough. And when you're intentional, you get to the point, then it just becomes insanely natural
Okay.
because
We're gonna stop right there for we got to go back. We got to this is the where everybody needs to hear this because with 365 Give we're the same way. We talk about this, but this is where intention meets repeat, right? So we talk about a
amen.
habit. It's like
Yes.
a practice. So this is, and before we even go on to the whole practice part, because this is the part that's so important, I want to go back and just make sure that everybody really pulled out a few of those key points that you said, because there was so many beautiful bits that you gave us in there. And we've talked about simplicity, right? And it's like our word of the day today is simplicity. But I've also heard in this a couple of things that have been really interesting for me. And one is faith and belief and the importance of that. You've mentioned the word God. It can be whatever word you so choose to put to that works for you. But this is spiritual, right? This is a connection that you're making with yourself, with other people.
Absolutely.
And I love what you said as well. And I want to make sure everybody heard this. This is like love in action. It's an easy exchange. Maddie doesn't have those words, but it's an energy, it's a frequency, it's a simple, beautiful exchange that's tying this all together. And these are all the components that I want to make sure everybody's getting in this. It's not just you're going up to somebody and, hey, this is a full on exchange with people,
It's the normalcy of life.
right? This is the common thread that actually attaches us and includes us and connects us, which is so beautiful. And that is spiritual, no matter which way you cut it. That's spiritual. That's a frequency that comes off of our body at that point. And that is also science because we can measure that. Now, you had mentioned endorphins, and I want to make sure we don't skip over this part. And this is the science of smiling. Now, you talked about endorphins. These are the things that kind of keep us going, they make you feel good. Is there anything else that kicks in with us, Michael, and our bodies when we just a simple, true smile and exchange with someone? Is there anything else that you're aware of that kicks off in our body?
I think it's endless, and there are truly, when you talk about science, actual, medicinal benefits, whether
Mhm.
it is relieving stress, anxiety, nerves, calming, reaffirming. I always, again, simply go back to that singular place is I want to believe human beings are wired to love.
Amen.
So I think first and foremost, when we can rattle off collectively a dozen, 2 dozen different things, the actual benefits of science, but yet that simple place of a connection in love. Um, the one thing I will tell you about Maddie, not to get off the science piece, and I just thought about this, but what makes it hard most of the time for what I would consider most normal people to love? And that is unfortunately, we judge. So if you find yourself in a place of judgment, you know, to really show someone empathy, kindness, and love, if you don't truly love them as hard and understand and seeing that, not only the smile from Maddie, but she's not wired to judge. So therefore, then we don't see all of the stereotypes that we've basically been almost like
I
programmed by
love that.
society. So therefore, then what are your actions to anybody then? So again, I kind of rewind back, for me, the science is among the other things. It's just that warming feeling of and it happens so frequently because one of the most frequent places I go is the gym. It's the YMCA. I've gone for years. And it is that ability more often than not to make it even more challenging is most people in the gym have headphones. So there is no ability to even communicate beyond the nonverbal. So it's then just the simplicity of how we speak to someone. And it does make us feel good rather than imagining passing someone and being an ass without speaking. They will feel that too, and that can change
Right.
the trajectory of their day
Yeah.
also.
Yeah. I want to, one of the other things I wanted to go back to as well, and I'm so glad you went back to that judgment piece and Maddie's, literally doesn't have the ability to judge, which is one of the most beautiful things. And you and I had a conversation before we started the show about, how we get stuck in our heads. And what I love about Maddie is she can't get stuck in her head. Like, what a beautiful gift that she can't get stuck in that monkey mind. I literally, it said to Michael before, I said, yeah, some days I just wish I could cut my head off and life would be so good. And Maddie has this beautiful, and you can feel it off of her, is that she doesn't get stuck in all of the stuff we all get stuck in her head, the ongoing dialogue that we have with ourselves. And it's what I love about what you're talking about as well is we're talking about faith. We're talking about, literally her, she doesn't she may not have the ability to get stuck in her mind as we do, but there's such a gift in that too, because if we all recognized how much we do get stuck in our head, like you're saying, our head is down in the world, we're not looking around. How many people go through a drive-through and you don't even notice the person that hands you your food. You don't even
We're
notice
on our
what's
phones,
going,
whether it's talking or playing, we're distracted, listening to the
right?
radio, whatever it may be.
Completely.
And
And you
yet
don't
you
even have
find
that
someone who
interaction.
actually
Put your head
has
up.
a sense of life and full of energy and love
Right.
that it touches your soul too.
Completely, right? And that's what I loved about that story too, that I really wanted to go back with people is we sometimes just these days we're forgetting to put our head up. We're forgetting just to forget even the kind. Let's not even go to kindness yet. Let's just be nice to the person through the window, right? And yes, have a smile. One of my things that I do here in Vancouver, I have a seawall run that I love to do first thing in the morning. I'm that 5:30 a.m. girl that's like out on the seawall.
Love it, love
And
it.
there's other people out there. And there's not one person I pass every single day that I don't say good morning to and I smile at, because I know in doing that it makes me feel so good. Whether they respond or not, there's no expectation. I've dropped that there's actually a full exchange. But just the fact that I know I've done that for the sole purpose of recognizing someone, actually seeing them. And I think that's the big thing we're missing right now that I'm really hearing from you right now is we all want to be seen. And this exchange of a smile is fully looking at someone and having an exchange, looking them in the eye and
We want to
smiling,
be seen
even if no
regardless if you
words
have,
go.
yeah, regardless if you have Down syndrome, regardless if you're going through immense challenges in life that bring on crippling depression. We want to be seen and heard and feel loved,
Right?
you know.
Every human
Yeah.
being wants that, right?
I don't care where you are on this
Yeah.
planet. I think we are wired for that.
Yes, agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, I'm going to go back only for a second to the science because it ties into the love as well. When you say we're wired for that, not only from a faith perspective, which we've talked about, but our bodies actually are physically, every human being, and this is what I love about it, are physically wired to feel love when you have a smiling exchange with someone else. And that's our oxytocin. It actually increases and fires, and
And
oxytocin is
and there's
our,
that beautiful word
right?
oxytocin. It
That's
is.
our
It's
love
all of that
hormone.
beautiful energy and what we feel throughout our
Right?
system that makes us feel so good.
Yeah.
I,
And this
I
is,
think you truly have to disconnect
yeah.
to find hate. That you
Yeah.
really have to change your wiring in our body, that we're born with the ability to just want to love and be loved.
Right. Amen.
Yeah.
Oh, I always love talking to you. It just makes me feel better.
Feel alive, baby.
Right, exactly. Okay, we got a couple more questions before we go. We've talked about, and you know, one of the things that you were talking about, obviously, are those benefits, you know, of smiling. And that's the other magical part about this. You know, the fact that it literally increases your well-being, the stress, which you've talked about as well. It increases your heart health. Like, it's incredible that just smiling. Imagine if people just for a minute went, okay, if I actually took the time to smile, and you said with intention, right? And practice, you made it a habit so it becomes natural, that you made smiling part of your well-being routine every day. Wouldn't that be absolutely incredible? Not only are you increasing the well-being of yourself, but every single person that you've touched.
And,
Have
and
you
again, and
experienced that?
yeah, and I'll compare it to you. I'm not asking you to get up at 5:30 every morning and go
No,
walk on the seawall or run.
no, no.
We're talking about again, here we go using this word again, just the simplicity of life in which it is a conscious choice
Right.
about when we're moving through. And that's why, to some extent, I love when people are less distracted without their devices and things, because you're not passing in the gym where you're either on the phone or you're texting or looking at videos and things like that. I mean, again, it's just the simplicity
Yeah. You're at the
of a
grocery
nonverbal
store.
smile.
The
It's
person you're stopped next to at a street light, right? You're walking down the street, somebody that you
it's
pass,
everywhere.
right? And like it's almost everywhere you go. And when we talk, people always say it's so hard to, you know, have a habit of doing anything, whether that's exercise. What if smiling became the first habit that you actually created for yourself? Because as soon as you know you could do that every day, even if it was to one person, as you do and as you show us, literally publicly on your videos, if we did that every day, we could actually show ourselves that, yeah, we can have positive habits that benefit us. We can
And you don't know,
create new
just like
routines of
Wendy's, you don't
intention.
know where that carries you, because I
Right?
think, again, a lot of times our minds want to go to that place of, well, no, the simplicity of a single act like that can't change someone's life. And I'm like, let me hear it. I'm living proof.
You are literally the living proof. It's why I have you on the show because I really want people to understand
And
this.
I'm the kind of guy, literally, in which I'm not making this story up, that I was at a light one time and I happened to have my nose trimmers in the car. I'm a little vain about my appearance and such. And I was trimming my nose hair, and I swear to you, I turned and looked, and this dog was on the lap of the driver, and the dog was staring at me. That I just erupted in laughter. I'm like, this dog, but I hit the horn to get the lady next to me to roll the window down.
I
It's like, I
love
hope you understand your dog is enjoying me. And so then she got to laughing too. And it was just 10 seconds at a light. And I'm not saying that happens all the time, but again, understanding where we are in our days, and what I really have put immense value on is we never know what someone's going through, in life, what they're carrying. And again, that course may correct and change itself just based upon a simple nonverbal or verbal communication from someone.
it. Michael, you personally, when it comes to this, and I want people to understand this, how has starting the Smile Project personally transformed your own life?
Oh, I mean, it's I have a hard time talking about it because Jacqueline, I can't go back a lot of times. I do. I guess that's my point. As I'm looking for one thing and I keep everything still, as crazy as this sounds, on my iPhone. So I have over 1,000 videos, pictures. But I guess my point is I may be looking for one thing and stumble over something else, and it may have occurred 4 years ago, but I feel it as it just may have happened because I relive it and I understand, what took place in those simple moments in life. And so I truly live it every day. It's a part of my soul now. And again, that faith side is, you know, I'm living to, I guess, change the world,
Right?
as hard as that may be. And I'm trying to live my life right by faith to spend eternity in heaven. I mean,
Well, you are right here on Earth, right? You keep
absolutely.
creating
And
it
that's
for
what I'm trying to
yourself.
create here, is a heaven on
Yeah.
earth for people. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you've done that, and I've been witness to it, and I've seen it, and it's so absolutely beautiful, and amazing. So thank you. You know, you and I have collaborated on a number of projects because what we do, and this is what I love about us and so many other people in the world, is we're finding, and this is going to be our beautiful word, the simplicity in what we do, because we want to make this possible for everybody else. We want to show them how easy it is to literally put love into action in our world and how it changes everything. Because not only does it change the people you touch, but most importantly, it changes you. And so every single, and this is what I want everybody to know about Michael. And I started it this way for a very clear reason. I asked Michael how many views or how many people's lives he thought he had touched. And that's how we change the world, because Michael never set out with the Smile Project to touch literally millions and millions of lives, but just through his Smile Project, not because you get millions of dollars of support with your Smile Project, not because of any other reason, but just because you
We're
now,
waiting for that.
every life that you touch just continues to ripple and ripple. And that was the last thing I want to talk about. And smiling and its contagious effects. Talk to us a little bit about smiling. Is it really contagious? Is this, can we make this our next pandemic?
I mean, look, I mean, I joke at times and laugh because to me, like smiling, laughter is medicinal. I enjoy it. I try to find ways to laugh really all day,
All the
every
time.
day, when doing it. So, I think the answer to that is yes. Um, and I'm 55 years old and I just drew a blank. What was the question again?
I love it. No, no, it
I
gets
had a
worse from
purpose,
here.
but I'm
Yeah.
I'm willing to tell you I am. Because I had a good point. Um,
Smiling, and is it contagious?
yeah, it's all of it is.
Mm.
I've seen it day in and day out with just too many people and too many strangers. Um, and never knowing, because I could sit here right now and I've done hundreds of random acts of kindness. And, for me, smiling and kindness, what I started to understand is that even though the name has never changed, as far as Smile Project, but yet truly, because every day is different, I evolve and grow every day. And part of this journey for me in growing is that, well, really smiling is more about, love. And I started to understand for me that life's greatest blessing, and I've asked this question too to hundreds of people, is love. It is just the simplicity of love and my ability to connect with complete strangers, in where love is not to me, not an action, but a feeling. Now, sometimes those actions provoke those feelings, but it's always about how I leave someone feeling. So, yes, they smile in the moment. At times we give people things of value, gifts, balloons, all of that. But I often say, and it's no different when I said I go back on videos and watch things and I feel it. I often say people forget all of that, but they still feel the love that an absolute stranger. So the byproduct of smiling and being intentional till becomes natural is, so when you ask if it's contagious, I have two simple taglines that I've used from day one. And one of those two is, you can be so happy that when others see you, they become happy too.
Mm.
And there's no better place, and I would challenge anyone to go to YouTube and put in Coke, happiness is a smile. It's a 90-second spot, a commercial, not a singular word is spoken, but you talk about how contagious things are. And it's a man stepping foot on a crowded subway with all kinds of people, and he has his iPad
Oh,
and he
that's
has headphones in. Yeah. And again, nothing is ever spoken in the video, but what people start to see, and that's the scientist. I like to say again, I'm unscientific, but to me, that's the science of it. In watching complete strangers, not even seeing what he is watching, but the impact and effect in just that simple 90 seconds, the whole train is smiling and laughing. And I'm convinced it doesn't matter what he's watching because they're then feeling it through him. So
Mm,
that's again what I try to leave people with, is that they can feel loved without saying a damn word.
that's perfect. Okay, we have two final things. Michael, where can everyone find you and how can they donate to the Smile Project so you can continue to do the work that you do?
So I'm on, most of the social channels. I don't dabble really as much in YouTube and TikTok, but my primary one, obviously, because it opens so many doors and opportunities to speak to people like you, is LinkedIn.
Yes,
I
and we're
am
going to have that
blessed to have,
right down below,
yeah,
everybody, so you can find Michael's handle here and below.
Facebook, Insta, and then yeah, I mean, I have a website. So
Oh,
navigate there to learn more about what we do and the ability to give, and a lot of what we have done just comes off of others opening their hearts and kind of paying it forward for us, to take that and be able to love on someone.
yeah. And I invite everyone to please,
And
you
that's
can
Small
find,
Project Louisville. Pretty simple, yeah.
yeah, you can find the link to Michael's project, the Smile Project Louisville. Like, why do I always get that wrong?
Louisville,
Please.
Louisville,
Yeah,
Louisville.
below, below. So click on that. And please, listen, even if it's a few dollars, I mean, the beauty thing that you're going to see what Michael does is, even if it's a few dollars, he will go and make people smile. And at the same time, he gives them a gift card or something just
There's
very
strength in
simple,
numbers. All
right?
those five
So
and $10 and $20 add up to make a difference in
huge.
someone's life. Yeah.
Exactly. So even if it's your high five to Michael, please go and be generous with him today. Michael, you're my inspiration. And what people also know is that on April 24th of this
Amen,
month
baby.
coming up, Do One Give Day is coming up. Michael and I have partnered for years with Do One Give Day because what he does and what we do with 365 Give, it's all the same thing. It is literally putting love out to the world because we both believe it's who we are.
And what's fabulous about what you doing on the 24th is Maddie's birthday is on the 23rd. So it happens the day. So I never,
Perfect. I love it. I love it. Michael, if you had one final message to give to our audience, to give to the world, what would it be today?
um, in this case, I've said so many different things, and I usually just wait for the moment to see what comes to me. And that is, I guess for me, and if you've ever looked at the company Life is Good, this is actually their mission statement. And someone told me one time, but a lot of times, again, smiling is a choice, and being happy is a choice. And life can be really hard at times for some. And what we don't understand when we play that comparison game is why life can be easier for others than you. But even though life is hard, we choose to smile because life is still good. Why? Life is not perfect. Life is not easy. Life is good. So it's a choice, regardless of your circumstances. Focus on what is good in your life.
Mm.
Allow that to control your mind.
And allow that to control your mind. We're all going to walk away with that. Allow that to control your mind. Michael, my dear friend, thank you. I love you. Thank you for being with us today and spending your time with us. I'm deeply grateful and always love. Now I'm ready. Look at my face. I'm glowing. I'm ready for the day.
Thank you. And as I always say, when I'm told I'm loved, I love you more.
Thanks everybody for coming. We'll see you soon. Don't forget, click the link below. Go check out Michael. Hit subscribe. We appreciate your support here at 365
And
Give.
look for April 24th.
Look for April 24th. Do one give day. We'll see y'all soon.